to say with deep sincerity our commitment to serve our God. And as we enter into prayer on the days in which has been given us is very important. And I like to open this up with a prayer, and then we will proceed. And may our God, as He has always blessed us, may He continue to bless us. Yahweh God, we thank you and we pray. And we ask you for your guidance and your blessing, and may your spirit be upon us. May we remember you in all that we set our hand to do. May we call upon thee, Yahweh God, in these days and forever. May your name be ever anointed upon our tongue, but most of all, may we be worthy to call upon that name by the discipline of righteousness that we will adhere to. May Yahweh continue to bless us and keep us and strengthen us. May the Spirit of our God rest upon us. Yahweh Allahayama.
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 Yahweh Allahayama. Yahweh Allahayama. Yahweh Allahayama. Yahweh Allahayama.
Shabbatah,
Atniga, Lakwadavasha, Yahweh, Makabada, Shama'a, Sharala, Yahweh, Allahayanawa, Yahweh, Akada, Yagadala, Yahweh, Yagadala, Allahayama, La'anaha, Kaya, Shamasha, Magana, Yahweh, Allahayama, Khanaha, Malaka, Yahweh, Sabayaba, Mayuwa, Yawa, Wayekha, Latisma, Berwaka, Allahayama, Ashura, La'a, Yesayara, Paladaya, Wakhasadawa, Ma'adaya, Kawaba, Ta'ama, Adata, Namadanaya, Kaya, Bamatis, Wadayaka, Ha'amana, Daya, Yatisra, Samawaka, Batisra, Shalawama, Taya, Baka, Bata, Waka, Bata, Kawa, Bayahawa, Ataya, Atta, Kaya, Bayaha, Yahawa, Tiswawa, Akwalayama, Kaya, La'a, Nahasha, Bayakaba, Wala'a, Basama, Mayeshua, Allah. May Yahweh bless us and keep us. May the Spirit of our God be ever with us. And we love our God intensely, for He is God and there is none other than Him. Amen. Like all these things that we find in the world meaning the people, we find that identity and the identity that pertains to each and every one of us is very important. We can definitely say that we who are of the children of the captivity will never be able to find our way back unless certain things are put in place. The scriptures definitely opens up the things to us to be put back in place so that we will have a chance to survive. Without that, then there's no chance at all. Because Yahweh God has told us what He had taken away so that we might be able to put back, so that we might survive. As we look forward into this great and awesome book,
In the book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 6, he said, my people are destroyed for what? The lack of knowledge. So if we are destroyed for that lack of knowledge, we should put that knowledge back in place. Yahweh God said, that we as a group of people would not have the circumstances of being recognized because of the lack of this knowledge. We have to realize that in comparison, when we look in the world, we're not recognized, and we don't know how, as a group of people, to acquire what belongs to us, because that knowledge of who we are has been taken away, and it has caused our total destruction. So it is a matter of putting it back so that we might have the stability that is necessary to survive in this earth. The physical things make you address certain physical things. It just happens to be that way. And therefore, Yahweh God has told you, because you have had, because of this lack of knowledge that you have, in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 64, Yahweh God goes to explain to you some of the things that you will find present in this world. And it says,
and Yahweh shall...
I'm at Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 65.
65.
And among these nations shall thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy feet have rest. But Yahweh shall give thee there a trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind.
Yeah, well, see, it says among these nations, not nation, singular, but plural. You ain't gonna find no ease. They don't allow you to rest comfortably in these nations. You understand? So the point is, you don't find the ease. And when you understand why you don't find the ease among these people, because you don't know who you are. And they're not going to lavish you to have this identity so that you might have mental stability. Because if you notice that everybody in this country, no matter what you might say, they're not. They'll tell you who they are. And you might say, well, you can't be a Puerto Rican because that's not this. But that's his identity. What's your identity? That you can feel comfortable and build on. He has built a custom of interchanging with his own people and others. That he's proud. He says, well, I'm a Dominican. I'm a Puerto Rican. Well, what are you proud of as a black American to say to where you walk in? Where you says, well, I'm an Afro-American. I'm two continents. But you never say what part of the continent you belong to. You can't. You're saying something that if you really analyze it, when you say American, you know, your identification in America is definitely a captive slave. You're not just a slave, you're a captive slave because you was taken. So you're going to use that as an identity. But at the same time, what customs has it bred forth that you will be able to focus on? Yahweh God is saying something to you when he said you are destroyed because your knowledge was taken from you. So if your knowledge was taken from you, where is your knowledge? So once you institute that knowledge, then you begin to have structure in your life that you can give your children. You have no structure in your life if you don't know the knowledge that pertains to you. It's a personal thing. Everybody else has made their thing personal. So when you say who you are by searching the scriptures, you come to realize that you kind of disturb the normal trend of thought. of what people think of you. That's why when they find out that you know who you are, they want to ask a question, because you might have stepped on their toe, because they said, well, if you're this and you wasn't that now, how did you learn that? And what is the value that it pertains to you, because now you know who you are. What the value is, that you got holidays, you got a dietary law, you got a law that tells you how to deal with each other, you got a God that tells you he loves you and he has a relationship with you. That's a lot. It's more than you ever had before. So you back on the road of returning from where you were. So as it goes on to say that you wouldn't find ease among these nations, and to go on to even go why would you not find ease? Let's go to Leviticus chapter 26 verse 17. 26 verse 17 tell you why you will not have ease among these people.
And I will set my face against you.
And I will set my face against you.
And ye shall be slain before your enemies.
He said what? Slain before your enemies.
They shall hate you, shall run.
They that hate you.
They that hate you shall run over you. And ye shall flee when none pursueth you.
Yeah, so we learn that in these nations, they that hate us, it says, they that hate you shall reign over you. So he's saying that those are the leaders within your enemy, before being slain before your enemy. These are not reasonable people that's going to give you anything. And therefore, we can speculate that they become more excited to execute a punishment upon you, somewhat with saying, well, he does know who he is. He is conscious of that. But yet still, in his position that he holds now, he has a stability, he's stable, because he's saying that he is a Jew. He's saying that he's an Israelite. He's saying he is a Hebrew Israelite. He's saying that he's the chosen of the living God. We never heard this before coming out of his mouth. He's saying that he is keeping the holidays, and he is claiming these things and reclaiming these things for himself and for his family. It is a renewal that is, even as they hear it coming from your mouth, it renews you, and it renews and places within them a understanding of your awareness that is almost frightening to them. When they understand that according to their history, you are an African that was violently beat up by people on the continent of Africa, that was sold to white people, and they'll tell you, well, your own people. It was people that was on the continent that participated in it, but they were not our own people. They were different tribes. They were like any other people that had a situation within a particular geography, and they began to sell the people that they felt was a nuisance or they did not like. And therefore they put tribal marks on the others, so each tribe that had participated, so that they would not be sold, they marked them with certain tribal marks. So we can see that yes, there was a large participant on the continent of Africa to remove you off of there. And this is why Africa is in the situation it is. Whatever man soweth, that shall he reap. And they're reaping what they have sowed. Just like we reap. Yahweh God cannot punish a person for thinking about an act. He can only punish a person for interrelating with the act by doing the act. You can't punish nobody because he wanted to take a cookie and the cookie was never moved. You punish a man or a person, a government or organization or individuals by what they do. That's how you give them their just due. You understand? So what we're looking at is that we know that they do not like us. We go on in the book of Hosea 8, to further understand that they're going to dislike you even more. Because Yahweh God is preparing you. Okay? Hosea 8. Hosea 8, verse 8.
Israel is swallowed up.
What Israel is swallowed up.
Now shall they be among the Gentiles as a vessel wherein is no pleasure.
See, it says Israel is swallowed up. As a vessel, the Gentiles have no more pleasure in you because you've been swallowed up. You say, and therefore, but Yahweh God did not leave them without another recourse. He says here, and we must understand is that if Yahweh God doesn't give us another approach to our salvation, then we are totally lost. Let's go to Jeremiah 12:9. Jeremiah 12:9.
Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field, come to devour.
Yeah, see, it says that my heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field. Come ye to devour. That's what they are. Everybody's around us to devour us. But let us go on. Because Joel chapter 3. Let's go start at verse 1. Verse 2. Yeah, Joel chapter 3, verse 2.
I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. And I will plead with them for my people and for my heritage, Israel.
So Israel is Yahweh's inheritance. See, it says right there. And for my inheritance, Israel. What? Go ahead.
They have scattered among the nations and parted my land.
Yeah, see, to show you that Yahweh, we are the inheritance of our God. And inheritance is what has been given. And therefore, what has been left that has been given, that someone thought that much of you to leave something. He said, this is my inheritance. Israel is my inheritance. This is mine. And he says, and the nations have done violently against her. And it goes on to say in Psalm 83. Psalm 83. Psalm 83. Psalm 83, starting at verse 3.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no longer in remembrance.
That's right. You see, but it is told us in this book what will befall us. It is told us, and it is made it clear. Yahweh God knows that nobody is going to help us nobody feels that they have to put in a helping hand. They don't feel that that is necessary for them to do. We are a people that's truly by ourselves. And if we do not understand that, if we truly do not understand that, we have definitely, could you kindly turn to Numbers? Numbers chapter 23, starting at verse 9. And tell me.
Numbers what?
Numbers 23, chapter 23, verse 9. Go ahead.
For from the top of the rock I see him.
I see
him.
Go ahead.
And from the hills I
behold
him. Oh,
lo,
the people shall
dwell
alone, and shall not be
recognized
among the nations.
That's right. So he said to him, and let me verify these people. Balak, the king of Moab, has brought me from Aram, out of the mountains of the east, saying, come, curse Jacob, and come, defile Israel. He says, how shall I curse whom Elohim has not cursed? Or how shall I defile whom Yahweh has not defiled? For from the top of the rock I see him, and from the hills I behold him. Lo, the people shall dwell alone, and shall not be recognized among the nations. That's what he said. You ain't recognized among the nations. You're not. Because they have taken crafty counsel. They have bewildered you with constant propaganda so that you never could have a stability of even thought. You can't find your way back because ain't nobody, as it says here. And I read these things to you so that if by means we might collaborate. It says in Isaiah 42, it says here, and I'm starting at 22, but this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes. They are all hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none delivers for a spoil, and none said restore. Nobody is going to restore you. Nobody's saying restore these people back to who they really are. Nobody is telling you to restore you to who you are. And this is your fight. Your fight is to know who you are totally, so that you don't, as a people, fall victim to being tossed about as a log on a big ocean, because that's what life is, a big giant movement of different ideas, and the physical world is a real beautiful world, because Yahweh God has given you, not only has he told you the circumstances that is pending, he's told you how to work through. He's told you even the people who has put their hands to making it hard for you. Let's go to Jeremiah 50. Jeremiah 50 will tell you the culprits that are to this day. Jeremiah 50, I'm at verse 6.
My people have been lost sheep. Their
shepherd
had caused them to go
astray.
They have turned them away the mountain.
Away on the mountain.
They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgot their resting place.
Yeah, see, it says my people are what? Lost sheep. He told me, he said, my people are lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. In other words, people that rise up and say they're going to teach them something, they distort the path, causing them to go astray. They have turned them away on mountains, on the highest place, and they have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. Because Yahweh God said, he said, I will destroy you. And your destruction would be for a lack of knowledge. Now that you got the knowledge, you're no longer destroyed. This is talking, showing you where you were and where other people, but you're not destroyed. You being that now you have identified who you are. There's no reason for you to do anything but what? Return back to Yahweh your God and keep what? The commandments. You understand? Now, we know that the shepherds, those terrible shepherds that took advantage and still take advantage, all that found them has devoured them, and they do. Everybody takes advantage of us. Because, see, we have not mentally understand that it's over for us and this beginning for them. In other words, those of us that know the truth have come out of the confusion because we have found by the grace of Yahweh where he has delivered us by giving us back that knowledge. So there's no reason for you to grieve and and be discontented. That's why it says, and let's go back in Deuteronomy. That's why it says, Deuteronomy 33 verse 29.
33 verse 29.
Yeah. It says, what?
Happy art thou, O Israel.
It said happy. Go ahead.
Art thou, O Israel, who is like unto thee.
He says, there's no one like you, Israel. Because that's why he said, who is like unto you? Show me a people that's like you. Go ahead.
O people saved by the Yahweh.
He said you're going to be saved by Yahweh. He ain't say be saved by no man. He said Yahweh's going to save you. Go on.
The shield of thy help.
That's right. He is the shield. He's going to shield you.
And who is the sword of thy excellence?
When you pick up the sword and you begin to swing it, Yahweh God said, I am the sword of your excellence. You will be able to slay. Go ahead.
And thine enemies shall be found liars unto thee, and thou shalt tread upon their high places.
Yeah, it says, and he said, when you find your enemies, they're going to be liars. They're going to have lied. They're going to have distorted. They're going to have the rearranged. They're going to send you down all types of crooked ways. But he said, happy. Happy. He said, don't be mad at them. Be happy now. Go about your business and do what you got to do. Don't take an attitude as though now, okay, I found this, you yelling at them, y'all undone. Leave them alone. Just leave them alone, because you should be happy and say, thank you, Howard. Thank you for it's been so long. And now I can tell my children, I can say to my friends, I can go out in the world and be very comfortable now. I don't have to be agitated by when I hear the news, because I know we came into America to be destroyed, to be hung up by a man that don't like us, that rules over us with cruelty, that tells us, well, I've done the best thing for you by taking you out of Africa. I mean, what kind of statement is that? You did the best thing for everybody else you allowed to migrate, to come over here that was having trouble, that it was by their own purpose. They wanted to come. These black people was beat up, stomped on, done in, and then when the other tribes that was in the area participated in this removing a people violently off of the continent, then when you got them, you didn't even treat them well. You start beating them for the first day you got them, and to this very day you still beating them. So you haven't been where Yahweh said, you show my people no mercy. He said, no mercy. God said, well, we gave y'all welfare. You understand? Nobody was punished for the lynching that they participated and encouraged others to participate in. Who was sentenced? They got pictures of all the people that was involved with burning a man, hanging. One of the most famous lynching pictures that I think is when you see the little boy and girl and they smiling. Do you know that is a trauma? But that guy's neck is pulled and that little girl is smiling and they having a picnic. Now, to see the agony of another human being that he has said is a beast, telling his wife that if he gets you, he'll rip you up. She was so glad because he wasn't ripping her up. He figured, well, maybe he'll catch me and rip me up. So the point is that I'm saying to you, is that they have not been a friend. They have not been friendly to us. They even had a chance at one time, if they didn't like us, they could put us back where we were. He said those that took them captives refused to let them go. Yahweh God said, even when it would be accessible to remove them and take them back, you held them fast so that we can pay